Welcome back to what I will not call an episode of Hangar Zilch 79. What you see in front of you is a piece of paper which I have scribbled on. And yes, that's my Trapper Keeper. But, yeah, anyway. What's going on? I mentioned in my stream earlier, I was playing DCS, flying the F-16 around. I was like, hey, I'm really excited because, you know, I'm like, I've been putting this off too long. I'm gonna, it's always been a sore spot, like, because I was gonna do science and then shit happened when I was 18 or whatever, and math wasn't a thing I could do or think I could do, whatever. I fucked it up. There's just no other way to put it. And now I'm like, well, you know what? It's not too late. Go back, learn the things. It's not going to matter career-wise. I'm already set as far as that goes. But, you know, whatever. I can learn some cool shit and start where I left off. You know, brush up on the basics. And thanks to Dr. Angela Collier for spending an hour explaining exactly how to do that. That's what I'm doing. I started 2 weeks ago, and it's like, oh, wow, damn, where was this? Was here the whole time. What the hell was I doing? What have I been doing with my life? Whatever. It's fantastic. The problem is, I still suck at all of this. And I'm going to share my suckage with you guys. Don't take that out of context. So what's going on is, I'll put a link to the video. The question is, I was watching the long antimatter video, and I'm like, I'm down. I need to hear all of those things. And so the question came up. It's like, well, what are you gonna do with all the extra heat? So if you have a matter-antimatter reaction, right? You have an annihilation. It's producing a shitload of energy that you can't use, like waste heat. I guess, what was it, gamma rays? I don't know. So I'm doing some science fictional shit, as you can tell. So let's say you have a 16%, which was given in the video, 60% efficiency, okay? And you have a ship, and I arbitrarily created the USS Rube Goldberg, because this is going to be some hot bullshit. And you can see it's basically, this says basically the Enterprise, but with downer engines or whatever, because you can see they're pointing down. And the whole point of this exercise here is because it's like, well, we got all this waste energy, and I tried making a joke about what to do with it. I'm like, obviously, we fill the thing full of water, and you boil the water, and that'll turn a turbine, and you can recover everything, and you can play your PlayStation 9s on the long trip, because that's what will be out by the time you build this ship, because it's definitely happening in the future. You know, like, the 9th generation of PlayStation is what everybody's going to have. I don't really know. More of an Xbox guy, really. But, actually PC. But, whatever. So that's why Sony is sponsoring. They are not sponsoring this. But I wrote Sony on the neck, you can see. So here I'm just like going through my book and the Googs and trying to figure out what formulas I might need, and bust out the Star Trek technical manual, which you definitely own. I know you do. You have at least one copy of that. It's next to your Star Trek encyclopedia. I know you got it, and probably Mr. Whatever. I'm not weird. You're whatever. Okay, so this is the mass of the Rube Goldberg. It is the same mass of the Galaxy class, the USS Enterprise, the Enterprise D, but except the engines are pointing down, which makes it completely different for kit bash and trademark reasons. So it's 5 times 10 to the 9th kilograms of a ship. So, and what else have we got up here? Oh, this is that is work done by a turbine, because we're eventually going to need to know. We have all this waste energy generated by a matter-antimatter reaction that's just going off into nothing. We're going to solve that problem here. I've solved it for you because I'm just brilliant. I'm going to break physics, you know. It says the other 84% is, I can't even read my writing, is going to be channeled into water using the new orichalcum heat sink battery system, or the OHBS. So it's going to be like 100% efficient. So I just realized that undermines everything I'm doing here. So we're gonna downgrade that. It's not gonna be 84%. It's gonna be something else. But so here's how it went. And I know everything I'm doing here is wrong, but that's the whole point. I know I suck, but it's still fun anyway. And I'm just trying to. Okay, so what if? So if you did. Okay, hang on. So this is enthalpy. I gotta figure that out. I'm pointing with my finger. You can't see it. These are. That is. Damn, I forgot already. Because this is way ahead. This is some engineering stuff with like turbines, and which, if my dad was still here, I would just ask him. He was a marine engineer. I was like, damn, where's Dad when I need him? Spend time with the people you love, folks. Okay, that went serious real quick. Okay, so we got power, we got work, we have kinetic energy. Also, we need, I just arbitrarily picked, okay, well, we're not going to approach the speed of light here, but what could we do? Let's figure out what impulse speed is. It's a quarter speed of light. So we did that conversion here. This is the rocket equation, which I think once we've got this number here, I don't think this necessarily matters so much because we're using antimatter, which means the mass, this is wet mass over, was it wet mass over dry mass, or vice versa. Yeah, so like the weight of the fuel, which was I guess the point of the video that I'm referencing, was antimatter would be awesome if you could get like that much of it. So okay, here we go. All right, so I'm like, okay, so how much kinetic energy is in a ship traveling at this? So I did EK as mass times the velocity squared over 2, and I got this number. I've probably made at least 80 calculation errors here. Oh yeah, let's back up, reverse, all reverse, full reverse. Here's what we gotta find. Let me get the piece of paper because I can't read the screen. This says, find the energy needed to hit 1/4 speed of light, 0.25 c. What is the mass of the antimatter needed to do that if it's at 16% efficiency? And assume water can, number 3 there says, assume water can soak the other 84% and drive a turbine with it. And then we need to figure out the mass of the water and what that turbine can do. Like, it's how much, that's gonna be 86%. That's going to be of course that can power some. How many PlayStation 6s can that power, and for how long? We gotta, yeah, whatever. So I know I screwed this up. I know I did right off the bat because I don't know. This is how much kinetic energy this ship has, and is it like in one instance of time, and within 1 second? Yeah, I guess it is per 1 second. That's right here. Okay. See, this is where I haven't done anything like this in too long. So it's like, what this is like is I run a bit. I'm not good at it. I just do it because it helps, kind of like what I'm doing here. And if you haven't run, like I used to run like 7-8 miles, and I'd just be like, okay, you know, damn, I was real slow. I was only at like 8-minute pace, and now I'm like, okay, I did 3. When you first get back into it, the first time you've run in a long time, and like it hurts your ribs, and you're like, ah, that sucks, and I can only do a little bit of what I used to be able to do. Cool, right. But similarly, I expect that comes back to you pretty quickly. This, I hope it comes back quick, because I'm like, I miss this shit. Like, it's like, oh, buddy, where you been, man? No, that's the wrong question. Where have I been? What have I been doing? Not this, as we'll see. Okay, so those are the questions that I've asked so far, and then eventually I want to do numbers, whatever it takes, to figure out how much, if you the recovery, the efficiency, this OHBS needs to be tweaked. Otherwise, that turbine is going to be going batshit. Even with orichalcum, that is a batshit turbine. You're going to handle 86% of a matter-antimatter reaction when it only took 16% to make this thing go 1/4 the speed of light. Okay, yeah, this is gonna. We'll figure that out. I'm gonna tweak that. I think Starfleet has discovered that orichalcum does not have the super awesome heat sink capacity that we expected, and that will be thrown out and replaced with something equally stupid, or maybe less stupid. Anyway, kinetic energy, simple shits. This is the mass of the ship. This is how fast we're going. You square that shit, you multiply it by that shit, you divide it by that shit, and you get this, which is also joules, I believe. And then, see how I wrote wow here? This is because, okay, well, how much mass do I need of antimatter to make it do this? And I'm like, oh, I've seen that equation somewhere. And I'm like, am I allowed to even use this? Can I even be in the same room with that? Like, it's like, screw it, we're doing it live. Yeah, sure, okay, I'll try it and see what happens. I am not worthy of that. I can't even touch it. What am I doing here? I mean, I could say that about any of these, but all right, whatever. We're going live, so what did I do here? Math. Okay, so then move that over to the other side to get math, and then we divide. You know, we need the mass, so we're squaring this. We're dividing by this. We do that down here. No. Yeah, so we're squaring that. That's how you get this. Then you divide this off to get mass on one side of the equation. And cancel in my units. And I'm like, holy shit, it worked? Am I allowed to have done this? It doesn't matter because I got everything wrong. This is totally jacked up. What I didn't account for too is the increase in mass as it goes at relativistic speeds. See, now it says now with more mass. If you're at 0.25, I don't know the how to figure that either. Like, this is more massive, so it's going to take increasingly more of this. I have to rework that. Shit. All right. Well, we'll learn it as we go. That's the fun part. So yeah, so I ended up getting, you need about 2 kilograms, a little over 2 kilograms of antimatter to make it go a quarter the speed of light. But also, that's how much like it has at that one instance in that 1 second, like this per second, if I'm reading this right. So like, I didn't account for how much it took to accelerate it up through that point. So I'm like, well, what do I need for that? Maybe like a rocket equation or something. But I'm like, well, no, I think it maybe, that's going to be the velocity of the stuff coming out of the impulse engines, right? Because the impulse engine is just rockets, if I read the fiction right. It's just a fancy rocket. So and also I'm not going to worry about like twisting effects or the center of mass of the USS Rube Goldberg or the thrust line or vectoring thrust or the twisties or the like rotational forces on the ship or any of that stuff. We're just, because I'm a knuckle dragger and we're just doing straight lines for now. Later on we'll get fancier as the USS Rube Goldberg comes together, and you know, we'll go with it. Anyway. So then I'm like, okay, well, it's 16% efficiency. So, okay, so how many of these go to what you need? 100, blah, blah, blah. So that's a factor of what, 6.25. So we need 13 kilograms of antimatter to get what this would do if it were 100% efficient, right? Probably not. And then I say the other 84% will be captured using our Chalcom heatsink battery system. And then I put that. So I figured out that using this, 86%. What's this? Okay, what's left? Right. So the energy from what's left, I subtracted this from that, and you know, and then so that is kilograms of. We need a little over 10 kilograms of stuff. This is the 86%. Of the waste that you were capturing using the OHBS. So you multiply that, you do this thing, and then you have energy of suckage. That's a lot of energy, and that's a lot of suckage. So yeah, okay, that's it. That's all I got. Next up on this, we have to learn about turbines and the specific heat of water, which is here. How many joules it takes to raise a kilogram of the stuff 1 degree Celsius, which I'm now in thermodynamics, I think. I'm in over my head, but that's the whole point. Bite off more than you can chew and then chew it, right? So we're doing that. It'll be fun. Anyway, please feel free to make fun of me. Yeah.